Hello and welcome to the Girl That Went For It podcast. I'm your host, Johanna Scholz, also known as Johanna Liana on Instagram, and author of Believe in Life, How to Dance in the Rain. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, Johanna_Liana, for daily content. And now enjoy this episode. Today's topic is so important. It's about feeling ready. Feeling ready to chase the dream, feeling ready to follow your goal, feeling ready to quit your job, feeling ready to whatever it is that you're waiting to feel ready for. Before I start, I want to share my new book with you, which some of you already know, but some of you might not have seen it yet. Living with Purpose. It's a book with daily reflections. You can literally open the book anywhere and read your little quote for the day, your gently reminder for the day. It's a great tool to just start with a positive mindset in the morning or before you go to sleep. Read one page, read 3, read 10 pages, how many pages you want to read. But yeah, I'll leave it in the show notes or in the description below so you can check it out. You can order it worldwide from Amazon. So if you're from Germany, go on to amazon.de. If you're from New Zealand, the Australian Amazon is the way to go. If you're from the US, go on amazon.com. I will link all the links below. Let me just randomly open a page and read it to you. You fall, you rise, you make mistakes, you live, you learn, you love, you lose, you care, you give, you regret. You're human. You've been hurt, but you're alive. Think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to chase your dreams. Sometimes sad things happen, unexpected things, but there still is beauty. Keep going and you'll find it. I feel like this kind of fits to today's episode about learning, about going for it, about not waiting to be ready and stepping out of our comfort zone, because how many times are we waiting to feel ready and then we not end up doing it? The other day, I had an interview for another podcast, which will probably go live in, she said, August. But I really wanted to talk about a topic that we talked about because I find it so important. And we chatted about, this was more about like starting your own business, because I'm a mindset coach for individuals like you and me, for people who want to live their best life, and also for people that want to start their own business and just starting the entrepreneurial journey, maybe quitting the 9-to-5. And that episode was more about like quitting your 9-to-5 and when do you know you're ready for it. But just in general in life, there are so many decisions we have to make along the way where we wait maybe to feel ready. And she asked me, when do you know, or when did you know that you're ready to start your own business? And I gotta say, I wasn't ready when I started my own business. I just did it with literally everything I did in my life, like moving to New Zealand. If I had waited until I was ready, until I had all the details, until I knew exactly how it would look like, until I knew like everything that I could possibly know, and then there would have probably been even more that I could research and try to understand and try to plan, then I probably would have never moved to New Zealand. The same with business. If I had not just started showing up on Instagram, starting sharing what I want to offer, I probably would have never had started, because I might have started to compare myself to others, thinking about all the limiting beliefs, or like having those limiting beliefs of who am I to start my own business? Who am I to move to the other side of the world? Like honestly, I had these beliefs, but I am really strong in my mind and I know how my mind works and I know how to change my mindset, because I am really aware of my thoughts, because I do a lot of journaling and write down whatever is going on inside here. And sometimes when I write it down, it just doesn't make sense, or it makes sense, but I know that there are other ways to do it too. And I know that I don't have to wait for this specific time in the future that might not even happen. But how often are we thinking, yeah, I do this then, and maybe in 2 years' time, I could look into that, and then I could possibly maybe start my own business. And then in 2 years' time, you have another excuse and you have another thing that's in the future that you want to wait for until you're ready to do whatever it is you want to do. There's this saying that says, this goal of yours or this dream of yours was planted for a reason. And if you truly know that this is what you want to do, for example, starting your own business, and you know, like, I don't want to work 9 to 5, I don't want to work for anyone else, I want to be my own boss, this is enough of a sign to be ready. You knowing that this is your truth, that this is what you want, and if you can see that for yourself, this is so powerful, like visualizing it and also making it logical for you. Because, of course, something might feel unlogical to you if you're like, I'm going to start my own business and I'm going to make as much money as I make in my current 9 to 5 job. This might sound really unrealistic to you, then this affirmation is not going to work for you. So you really have to find affirmations and things you say to yourself, thoughts. You have to choose the thought that makes sense to you. For example, I'm going to quit my job. I know that I'm not going to make as much money as I made in my 9 to 5 job for the first month, but that's okay. I know that that's part of the process, and I know that I'm gonna feel so much more fulfilled in my new adventure in starting my own business, and I know that clients will come my way. I know that I will attract people into my life that want to work with me. That sounds probably way more logical to you and way more doable, and you will feel way more ready to take the first step. But way too often, we look for all the excuses, all the reasons why it can't work. For example, I won't make as much money as I make in my 9 to 5. I won't be able to take time off like I do in my 9 to 5. I'm just going to stay with the starting your own business example, but I will do some other examples further down the track. But way too often, we look for excuses why we can't do something. And then we stay in our box, we stay in our comfort zone, because that's our mind trying to keep us safe, because the unknown is scary. And way too often, we look for excuses why we can't do something. But I want you to really shift your mindset to, whenever you have these excuses popping up, please write them down and write the opposite on it. Like, let's say, for example, I won't be able to take time off like I can in my 9 to 5. If that's your excuse, rewrite the thought and write down, I feel so much more fulfilled in my own business, and I know that when I do it right, I will be able to take time off whenever I want. And this already leads you closer to starting. If your thought is, I won't make as much money as I do in my 9 to 5 for the first few months, well, that's you also creating that reality. That's you believing that. And then firstly, you're not even going to start because that's kind of your fear. But secondly, let's say you start with that mindset. You start with the mindset, I won't make as much money. You won't make any more money. That's just you creating this reality for you. So what you have to do is shift that mindset from I won't make as much money as I do in my 9 to 5 to the possibilities are endless. I have savings that I can use to cover the first few months. And I know that in my new job or in my new business that I start for myself, I can make even so much more money than working for someone 9 to 5. Just an example. If you don't want to start your own business and maybe your goal is to apply for a different job, and the limiting belief that's holding you back is, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this higher position that I'm about to hand in my CV. Who am I to get this job? I don't feel like I have the qualifications to get that job. If you have these limiting beliefs, if you tell yourself, I'm not ready for this new job, but you also have this goal to get a job in that position, you kind of like push the accelerator on the one side and then push the brake on the other side because you want that job, but you're kind of holding yourself back because you tell yourself, or you're thinking, who am I to get this job? Why would they pick me? Like, this is you limiting yourself. This is you creating your reality. These are your thoughts, and your thoughts, I can't say it often enough, your thoughts create your reality, your outer world. Whatever you're thinking in here, whatever possibilities you are telling yourself, limitations, that's what you will get. Because if you think, who am I that they pick me, I'm not even going to apply, you're not going to create the reality of getting that job. If you are thinking, I'm not qualified enough, and maybe you are getting invited to that interview, but you're still thinking like, who am I to get this job? You will literally, how do you say this? You will literally spread that energy when you go to the interview. You will be like, oh, who am I to get the job? And you will probably feel a bit insecure and stuff like that. But if you shift your mindset, if firstly you say to yourself, I so deserve this job and I worked so hard to get here and this is my goal and I know that I can do it. If you have that mindset, your possibilities will triple. Like doors will open. You will have great conversations because you're confident in what your goal is. You're confident in deserving. You know that you're worthy and you know that you deserve this reality, and you will show up in such a different, such a different energy, such a different appearance, and you know that you deserve this reality for you. But the problem is, way too often we have these limiting beliefs that tell us we're not ready, or maybe we feel like we have to still prepare to get to that step to finally be ready. Way too many people are stuck in that preparing phase and wait to be ready. But who defines ready? Like, who defines when you're ready? Because I can guarantee you, the ready you tell yourself now, like once I'm there, like once I'm ready, I'll do it. Like, and then you get to the point that you said you'll be ready, then you have another excuse why you're not ready. And then you jump again, like you tell yourself, I'd be ready when I achieve this. So you work towards it and you achieve it. And then you're like, I'm actually not ready yet. I need to learn more and do more, and so on and so forth. And so your ready is always in the future and you never end up actually doing it. There are like so many ways where we use this excuse, whether it is, like I said, starting your own business, changing jobs, starting a podcast, for example. Honestly, I started my podcast a year ago, and before that, I was thinking like, I want to start a podcast, and I had like 3 months of this, what I'm literally just explaining to you, like being like, oh, who am I to start a podcast? I already have an Instagram, I have a YouTube channel. Should I really do a podcast? I don't have the equipment. And looking for all these excuses instead of just doing it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. Same with my online courses. I think 2 years ago, or even 3 years ago, I shared my first online course, Mind and Vision. And honestly, it took me so long to create that course. Whereas today, I can create a course in like a week's time. I just have to put time aside and really work through what I want to do and get the outline. But back then, 3 years ago, it took me so long because I was like doubting myself and had to go through these, unblocking those limiting beliefs. And that's why I am so good in it, and seeing limiting beliefs popping up and explaining to you, hey, this is a limiting belief. This is something you're telling yourself. And funny thing is, I just had to think back on a monthly catch-up I did. I think that was the one in March. And in my catch-ups and in my coachings that I'm going to do more of in the future, like monthly coachings, I have like a little, not discussion, but like people can share their thoughts, people can share what they're struggling with. I do that in the end. And I had one of the girls, I don't know if she was talking about a marathon. No, it was something else. And she was literally saying something, and I was like, you literally just mentioned a limiting belief there. And then she's like, oh. And then the other girls, there was another girl that could hear that, and she was like, yes, I was thinking the same. Sometimes you need other people to tell you, why do you think that? And have you thought of rephrasing it, saying it in a different way? And that's why it's also so good to share these experiences, to share your limiting beliefs, and also to write them down, because once you read it, you're like, oh, this doesn't make sense. And why am I thinking that? And that's also why I decided to create a space where you can share your thoughts, where you can share your limiting beliefs, where you can learn more about mindset and how your mind works with monthly coaching calls. I will take all the information below. We can connect, you can jump on live calls with me, and you will learn so much about yourself. It's a place to grow. It's a place to learn about yourself. It's a place to connect with other like-minded individuals. And I'm so excited if you join. I'll take the link below. Let me share 3 tips. I mean, I already shared heaps, but let me share 3 more tips how you can overcome this feeling or this limiting belief of I'm not ready. So the first step is to embrace imperfection. I don't know. I have no idea where we have this urge from to get it perfect the first time. From the moment we were born and learned things, learning to talk, learning to walk, we weren't perfect in a way. Like, of course, we were all perfect. We were all perfect human beings, like worthy human beings. Also here, definition of perfect is different. But what I want to say is, we were never ready to speak a language. We were never ready to walk. We were never ready to ride a bike. But in order to get ready, we had to try it. We had to fail. We had to grow. We had to fall and stand back up and try to walk again. And I don't know where this is coming from, that we think we have to be ready to do something, because imperfection, like failing, learning, growing, is part of the whole process. I could have waited in Germany until I was ready to move to New Zealand, but honestly, the only way to figure it out was traveling to New Zealand, being here, figuring it out while I was here, making this possible for me. Just like an example, the podcast, another example, like I only knew if I was ready or if I could do it while doing it. Same with writing my book. Like, this is my second book. Like, when I wrote my first book, I sat on my laptop and I was writing chapter after chapter, and I was like, wow, I'm writing a book. I was not even aware, like, while I was writing, like, I'm actually making this in a book. Like, I was aware, like, when I started writing it, I was actually writing, like, I'm going to write this all down, and I'm actually not sure if I'll finish it, but I'm going to write it down anyway, and I hope that you read it one day, or something similar as in my first book on the first page. And while I was writing it and writing more and more and doing it and adding more thoughts and all of that, I was like, yes, I'm so ready to get this out there. So please don't be afraid of imperfection. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to start and realizing this is actually not what I want and changing course. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind, changing your decision, changing your path. Like, we are on this earth to make heaps of experience, to learn, to grow, to try things. Otherwise, it would be so boring. The second tip, which is kind of similar to the first one was embrace imperfection. The second one is overcome perfectionism. So trying to get everything perfect. Perfectionism can literally paralyze you. There's no moving forward when you try to be perfect all the time. When you try to get it perfect, you're not moving forward. You're literally standing still and working on it and trying to make it perfect. You're sometimes even unable to just start because you're so focused on perfectionism. Let me give you a few examples. I feel like a good example here is riding the bike or going to the gym. Like, if you want to get healthier or more fit and you go to the gym, of course you won't be perfect at like exercises straight away. You have to learn how to do these exercises. And excuses like, I don't have time, plus limiting beliefs, I will never be able to get fit. Like, those two together are like a setup for failure. Like, you're not gonna get there. So embracing imperfection plus overcoming perfectionism will help you to simply start. Because who told you to be perfect? Like, we don't have to be perfect to start. We don't have to have it all figured out, and we will never have it all figured out, because this life will throw new challenges our way. We will get older, we will deal with different things, and we will never have it all figured out. The government will change. I don't know, like, all these things will always change. So why would you wait until you're ready? Want to know my number one advice? Just simply take the first step. You don't have to run up the staircase. Just take the first step. The first step out of your comfort zone. And you will realize it wasn't even that hard. Like, you could easily do that. And you learned from it, and you've grown through it. And you're like, oh, I can actually take another step out of my comfort zone. That's not that hard. And honestly, you will be surprised how far you'll come in a year if you simply take the first step. I want to share one more thing. We are living in a world where we have so many opportunities. Like, there's the internet. We can connect with people. We can share things in Facebook groups. We can connect with people on Facebook groups. We can share everything on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We can get our message out there. Also, there are places that you can apply for jobs online. Like, we have so many opportunities, no matter what it is, whether it's business related, whether it is starting something like a podcast. You can literally watch a YouTube video and figure out how it works. Whether it is any new hobby that you want to try, like let's say pottery or knitting, whatever it is, you can look it up online. There are so many opportunities nowadays for us. And even in this world, not online, you can go to your community group in your hometown. You can go wherever you have a little notice board, whatever. But if you tell yourself you're not ready, you will not see all these opportunities that are out there for you. Once you decide, I'm so ready for this, I'm ready to apply for this job, I'm ready for a new role, I'm ready to learn and grow, whatever it is, you will see opportunities popping up. You will see job notifications. You will hear people talking about a job and be like, hey, I'm interested in that. You know what I mean? Once you start, you're shifting your mindset to, I'm ready, I want to have this life, you will see so many amazing opportunities coming your way, trusting that opportunities are coming your way and knowing that there is a path for you. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you could get inspired and reflect on what am I telling myself? Where am I telling myself in my life I'm not ready for XYZ, whatever it is? And just think about it a little bit more, maybe journal about it. And if you want to get more into mindset work and learn how your mind works, I invite you to my community. Just simply click the link below about our monthly catch-ups where I do little coaching sessions and where you can connect with each other and share your thoughts and just live your best life, because that should be the goal, right? Living your best life, your definition of best life. Thanks for watching.